Welcome to What's Going On, the weekly podcast and videocast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of What's Going On. I'm Pastor Katie here at First United Methodist, and I'm glad you could join me for this episode. Unfortunately, you just get me this week. I don't have any guests with me this week, but I have been so grateful for all the wonderful guests that we've had on the podcast in the last few weeks. I do want to give you an update on how our mission fundraiser went this past Sunday. Last week, we had Carla Hummel on the podcast, who is the missions coordinator for First UMC. And she was talking about our Spring Forward fundraiser for our missions. Again, our missions is something that when our budget got tight, we decided rather than just budgeting missions, we would do fundraisers for missions as one of the ways to find out what people really care about and to allow people to show their interest and their passion with their giving in that way. And so this past Sunday, after the worship service, we had a baked potato feed and a dessert auction. And to say it was a raging success is a bit of an understatement. It went very well. The food was delicious. Thank you to everyone who donated items for the baked potato feed. Those were some of the best baked potatoes I've ever had. And also to those who brought items for the auction. The two events together raised about $2,500 for missions in the church, which is phenomenal. Again, that money is going to be going to our different and various mission and outreach commitments that we have throughout the year, including Loads of Love, including the banquet, including things like our Bay Baskets that we do at the beginning of May and other opportunities. So again, thank you for all that came out, all that supported it, and you could always still give to missions if you would like, above and beyond your regular giving by just making a note saying designating some toward missions, and we can definitely make that happen. So also, if you did not know where we were last week, we were in the upper room. I thought the Narcotics Anonymous sign over my shoulder might be a dead giveaway. If you are unaware, our church hosts the Narcotics Anonymous group here in Yankton. We give space in the upper room to them 4 nights a week for them to gather and meet and encourage and hold one another accountable. And it's just a really important thing that we have here in Yankton, and I'm so glad that we can partner with them in that way by giving them the space to meet. There are so many who struggle with addiction, and groups like AA and NA and Al-Anon and so on are really helping people to live not beholden to their addiction. I think that those desires and those things never really go away, but through community and support, people can live facing their addiction every day and choosing and not to live into it. And so, yeah, that's why the sign is in our upper room, and that's why we chose to go there. So today, obviously, I'm in my office, so there's no contest today, but I have been enjoying recording in various places, so definitely be on the lookout for that in the future. Just some things that are happening in the life of the church and things that are coming up that I want you to be aware of. Coming up this Sunday, March 17th, is the day that we're inviting you to wear your camp clothing. If you don't have camp clothing, maybe wear the color green because it's also St. Patrick's Day. And I was trying to think if I have any green camp clothing. But this is March is our camp promotion month when we want to get people signed up and excited about church camp in the summer and make sure they get it on their calendars. So this coming Sunday is the Sunday we're asking you to wear your camp clothes to church. What you would wear to go to church camp, what you would wear to go camping, that's what we want you to wear to church. And that's part of just celebrating the wonderful ministry that happens at our church camps and encouragement for people to go. Again, church camp isn't just for kids, it is for everyone. There are camps for everyone, family camps, grandparents and me camps, adult camps. I know that the Women's Night Out group has been discussing there's a renew, relax. Here, hold on. I've got my camp brochure right here. I have it on my desk so that I can sign up for camp. There's a relax, refresh, renew camp in October for adult women. There's special needs camps. There's a men's retreat. Uh, Actually, I think that one has already happened. There's just all kinds of camps. And so if you feel like camp is not for you, I promise you that it is. Now, in our church, we do offer a 50% scholarship for all kids to go to camp. That's 50% of the early bird pricing, which the early bird pricing runs through April 30th. After that, you can still sign up for camp. It just costs a little bit more. And you would still get the 50% scholarship, but again, only 50% of the early bird price. And we also offer that our second graders get to go to camp for free at one camp, up to $210. Again, we offer this because we believe that camp is an important part of faith development, that going to camp, you just get this intense time to be with God, to be with others, to be uplifted, encouraged. There's just nothing else like it. I am a big proponent of camping ministries. I have been my entire life. I remember going to camp as a kid, and the first time I went, I was like, "Well, I'm gonna work at a camp." Like, I was already like making my whole plans. By the time I was my senior year in high school, I was making plans to work at camp. I started working at Lake Ponset the day after I graduated from high school. It was at camp that I experienced my call into ministry. And if you talk to a lot of the clergy in our conference, their call into ministry was either felt or encouraged or nurtured at a camp. And so, again, camps are incredibly important. Uh, and just so many students have come back feeling incredibly encouraged, meeting other students from around the conference and the connection who are like them, who have faith in Jesus, who have a passion for God. And maybe that's not always the easiest to find in their schools. You know, they have their youth group here, but to have more and more connections, I think is never a bad thing. And so I think it's really important. Sign up for camp. Again, the deadline for that is April 30th for the early bird deadline. One of the other things that's happening related to camp, and that'll be on the 24th, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday, is they will be selling cookies, again, to help support that 50% scholarship that we were talking about to get kids to camp. And you are invited, if you'd like to provide cookies, you certainly can. The parents and families of kids who are in the church have been asked to do so, but anybody can bring cookies if they want. But also, I think almost more importantly, come prepared to buy cookies. That'll be on again Palm Sunday, the 24th. And let me talk a little bit more about that day. We've kind of built up in our church that the 24th is where we do a lot of our celebrations because we realize that a lot of people spend Easter with their families and so don't want to have an extra time at the church around the worship service on Easter Sunday. So we do it on Palm Sunday. So Palm Sunday will have kind of a lot happening. There's, again, that's when we do our Easter egg hunt. That's when we do just a lot of really fun things. And so we want you to kind of plan for that. Make sure that you are here, especially if you have young children. This is a great Sunday. Palm Sunday is also exciting because we will be receiving new members into the church. We've had 5 people that have been a part of the new members class that's been offered. And Palm Sunday is kind of the day we've designated for them to be received into the life of the church. And I just could be more happy that I really believe that God has brought incredible people to us that adds so much to our church, so much to our community of faith, and feel really blessed that they have chosen to make this their home. And so if you are interested in joining the church or wondering what membership looks like, please don't hesitate to talk to me. I would love to visit with you about what church membership looks like. And I want to be clear that church membership has nothing to do with salvation. Those are 2 separate things. There is your relationship with God, and there is that living out discipleship of Jesus, but we are always meant to do that within a community, within a church. And our church membership is our commitment to doing that with one another. That, again, we are not meant to live this life of faith on our own. We cannot. We need other people, and we need to be willing to be available for other people as well. It goes both ways. And so church membership is kind of talking about some of those things. How do we live out our faith in community? And how do I make this community my home? And so that's all happening on the 24th as well. Starting this coming Tuesday, we finished up our series on Revelation for normal people, and I've been blown away by the conversations that came out of that class, by the engagement, by the people who came and were willing to just go there and have some. And it really sparked some incredible conversation. It really sparked some uh, connections to the world that we are living in, and it's always amazing to me how things written 2,000 years ago can have so much relevance. And I know the book of Revelation feels so out there, and that it's so when you read it, it feels very like, how does this relate to anything? But that was the beauty of this class and of the book that we used, is it really helped to put Revelation in its context and what the people of the time were dealing with and what the book was meant to do, what that letter was meant to do, and then bringing those ideas into our context and really finding a lot of connection. And so I'm just so grateful for the people, because you never know when you throw out something like that what you're gonna get in response. And I just have been blown away. We're gonna start this coming Tuesday with a new book. It's called Courage by Tom Berlin, Jesus and the Call to Brave Faith. A little bit, I think, more of a straightforward read, but if you're interested, you can purchase this book. It's on Amazon, it's on Kindle, but Tom Berlin is a bishop in the United Methodist Church. I've seen him as a speaker. I've been very impressed with him, and so I'm excited to dig into this book. So this coming Tuesday, the 19th, if you want to join us, please join us. If you haven't purchased the book, if you want it, let me know. I think it's currently like a 3-day turnaround. If you don't get the book prior to the first session, that's not the end of the world. Still come. And you'll get a bookmark with all of the readings. There's one day where we'll not have class, and it's a 6-session study. So that's where the Tuesday lunch study is headed next. Sunday morning classes, the Christianity 101 took a hiatus for the month of March so I could do the new member class. It'll come back in April. And right now, basically what I do is I like to cover sort of the basics of faith. I pull a lot from the confirmation curriculum of what are the topics that we believe that students should know in order to have an informed faith, and then I apply them and adapt them for an adult audience. But I also take requests. Hey, I'd like you to talk about this. Hey, I'd like you to talk about this. I have a question around this. And so if you have ideas or topics that you would like to have a class on, please let me know. But I will be getting those figured out and up on the announcement screen in the next week or so. So again, if you have ideas for April's Christianity 101 class on Sunday mornings, I would love to hear them. And we won't have that on Easter Sunday. That'll start the next week. Just to be clear about that. What else do we have going on? Holy Week. Holy Week looks a little differently this year. We're taking advantage again of the good working relationship we have with the UCC church here in town. I've had kind of some sideways comments of people who've heard, or people who've been asked, are we dying? And is that why we're partnering with the UCC church? No. No, in fact, we're bringing in new people into our church. But why are we partnering so much? Because we can. You have to remember that this church, up until me, had two pastors on staff at any given point. And I've not had that luxury, which means that anything that is worship related, anything that is pastoral related, really falls to me. And that's a lot on my plate. And one of the things that has been a blessing to me in the last year is to partner with other people, other clergy, on some of these services outside of Sunday morning. And so, not only have we partnered with them in children's ministry in VBS, and this coming year's VBS, not only will we partner with UCC, but Trinity Lutheran over by Burger King, they're joining in with us as well. So we're going to have students and volunteers from all three churches joining together because, again, when we pool resources, we have more available, we can do more and have an incredible experience. And that's really what we're looking to do. And the three of our churches, we do also partner together on our Loads of Love ministry. And we're looking to partner together, the three of our churches, on a few other things. Our youth ministry partners, those three churches, to do trunk or treat. So again, these are partnerships that have been in existence, and we're just looking at what are some other ways that we can utilize and benefit from joint efforts. And so this year you saw that Blue Christmas was a joint effort between the two churches over at the UCC church, and we had a significantly higher turnout when we joined together than when we offered that separately. And I mean that it was more than if you just added our previous individual services together. Coming together, even more people turned out for that service. And I think the other thing is we brought together the best of both of our churches for that. We had incredible music from both churches in that service, and that was just amazing. And then we did Ash Wednesday. We hosted that because one of the things we've kind of decided is that we'll alternate hosting because we don't ever want it to be just one church or the other. And we want to really, again, um, feel like this is a partnership. And so Ash Wednesday, we offered Ash Wednesday here, again with both clergy. When we did the prayer stations, that was a joint effort in planning and putting those things together and then having the service and the meal. And again, it's one of those things that we can do more together, and I can be more creative when I have another person to bounce things off of. I want to be clear that we don't agree 100% on everything, otherwise we would be the same church, but we're not. We're still two separate churches, two separate traditions, but there's more that binds us together than what separates us. And we find that in these special services, there's really a lot that binds us together. So in Holy Week, the way we chose to do it was that the UCC is going to host Monday, Thursday, and they are doing a Living Last Supper at 7 p.m. over there. And I'm so excited. I've never been to a Living Last Supper before, so this is a new thing for me. But they are really taking the leadership on that service. And then Good Friday will be here at our church. And I'm really taking the leadership on that service. And we're doing something I've never done before there either. I like to keep people on their toes. Last year's Good Friday service was so incredibly impactful. But one of the things I realized was if we're inviting another church to come join us, we do not have enough space where we held it last year in the lounge. We were pretty tight. And so I was looking at different options because of that in particular. And I've found something that I think is really creative and unique. And again, with the hope that you experience Good Friday and it hits in a way that it's never hit before. And that's what I really want, is for you to take away something or experience something that sticks with you rather than something that feels like you're just going through the motions. And then obviously Easter Sunday, we will have separate Easter Sunday services. Although I do want to let you know that on Saturday, there is a silent retreat at the UCC church that goes all morning. And they also are offering an Easter sunrise service down at Riverside Park. And so we do have sign out on our bulletin board when you come into the church that lists all of those, and we'll put them up on our social media as well. You are welcome to any and all of those things. Uh, just I just want to put that out there as an invite. Uh, yeah, there's just so much. And then looking into April, we've got some things coming down the line that I'm really excited about. The Green Team has got an event that they're planning around Earth Day that you're going to hear more about. The Green Team is really getting a lot of exposure. The Green Team, there's going to be an article coming out. I'm going to post that and share that when it comes out on our Green Team. Also, our Green Team has been invited to annual conference to lead in workshops to help other churches start green teams. And so I love it when this is the best use of our connection is, okay, something has happened in our church that is doing incredible things. And then because we are so connected, we can take what we've learned and help bless other churches and help other churches learn from what we've learned. It doesn't mean it's going to look exactly the same, but we've now become a resource for other people on how to become more environmentally conscious in the church. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And I'm so excited that they are being recognized for what they've been able to accomplish. This group hasn't been around that long, less than a year, and already their impact on our church has been incredible. And so look out in April for their Earth Day event and activity. You're going to hear more about that in the coming weeks. And then just to give you a heads up, we're going to be doing a series after Easter, looking at the resurrection from the viewpoints of the various people in the story, the Easter story, and what Jesus' resurrection meant for them, and then ultimately what Jesus' resurrection means for us. Easter is central to who we are as Christians. The resurrection is central to who we are in our faith. And so let's learn from the people in the story and what the resurrected Jesus meant for their lives, and then what it means for our lives. So I'm really excited to dig into that. This series, Untangled, has been an incredible blessing to me. It's been a hard series to write and to preach, but I feel so passionate that we need to be a church that can name and talk about the hard things and do some work to heal and to give hope and to be a place where people can be open and honest about whatever they're dealing with, whatever they're struggling with, whatever they find um, difficult, but also where they find hope. And so thank you for your feedback on the sermons, on the topics, for your continued engagement in these kinds of questions. For me, again, it's living into our mission and ministry to be a church of hope, healing, and belonging. And I really do find and hope that you find a place here, that you know that you belong, that this is your home, and that these are people sitting around you who truly love and care for you. That's how I feel here, and I want everyone to feel that. And so I hope that you do. And so with that, I hope that you are having a wonderful week, that I'll see you in worship this Sunday in your camp attire or in your green. And until next time, God bless. Thank you for listening to this episode of What's Going On. We'd love to have you join us for worship here at the church on Sundays at 10 a.m. You can also find us online via our website at firstumcyankton.org or search for us on YouTube.